for God's existence that is science-based has been utterly overthrown. And I may say I'm sorry that no one from the Discovery Institute came this evening, because I trailed my coat as much as I could while I was in the hood, or that if they're here, they've kept quiet. But Stenger is a great book, and he's a huge addition to the arsenal of argument. I'm told we've got two more, right? Sir.
What would be your rebuttal to the review of your book in The Nation, which said, if you are to be believed, our faith-based president is defending rationalism against religious intolerance?
Well, my book doesn't say that. Daniel Lazar, a semi-literate polemicist who's always hired on by The Nation when I publish a book, for some reason, would be at a loss to point out where in my book I say that. I attack the president for his credulity and stupidity on matters of religion. I will say this, however, which is what he may possibly have confused it with. It could be that every member of the 82nd Airborne Regiment was a Bible-believing, snake-handling Pentecostalist. Though I doubt it, but that could be literally true, and it would still be true that they're defending the frontiers of Afghanistan and Iraq from the parties of God. So the irony, I think, would be at the president's expense rather than mine. These people guard us while we sleep from the worst enemy our country and our civilization has ever had, and I'm very proud to be among their supporters. Pity about the applause. Well, since there really are only two, can we make it two more? Then one each, and then we're done, yeah?
Actually.
How's that? Yeah. Fair enough. So you first, sir.
Okay. What would you say to the argument that since we don't know what will happen after death, it's better to take the strategy that you believe in God, because then if you die and there is God, maybe you have a chance of going to heaven, whereas if you didn't do that, you know.
Well, you'll like that section in my very moderately priced book. Which, as most of you will know, the gentleman is summarizing actually almost perfectly the wager of Blaise Pascal, whose pensées, his thoughts, were addressed actually to the one who is so made that he cannot believe. That's me. And he says, well, look at it like this, like some huckster, like the guy who from the megachurch the other day on the radio tried to get me to pull into his parking lot because the Lord had cured his daughter of Hodgkin's disease. Like some really low-rent character says, what do you got to lose? If it's not true, we're all headed nowhere in any case. But if it was true by any chance, and you'd said you thought so, how bad could it be? Well, you talk about the way that religion degrades argument and degrades dignity and self-respect. There you have it in one syllogism. But I have my answer, the following. On the assumption that the God they're talking about is anything like the one they ought to be believing in, this is what I say in my book I'm going to say. By the way, but just before I tell you, you know what Bertrand Russell said in reply to the same question? He said, I should reply, oh Lord, you did not give us enough evidence. Which I think is pretty good, but my reply goes on just a fraction longer. It says, I presume, divine sir, that you have some respect for intellectual honesty and for moral courage, and that you would look with more favor on somebody who made an honest profession of unbelief than on someone who acceded to belief in you in the hope of a handout.
Mr. Hitchens, I don't have a question. I have a thank you.
Oh.
I'm the executive director of Doctors Opposing Circumcision based here in Seattle. And I send the thanks and greetings of my members around the world.
Excellent. I am so tempted to leave it like that, but something in me wants to milk the moment just one more second. If you will consult my reasonably priced volume, you'll see you learn a lot when you write a book like this. I thought I knew what the case against religion was. I did know that, but I learned more than I thought I would. And the thing that really alarmed me was to read what the original justifications for circumcision particularly the horrific propaganda of Maimonides, considered to be the greatest Jewish sage. This is wicked stuff. And it says that the reason it must be done is for the same reason as it must be done. Jews don't say this, fortunately, but as others later said, to little girls, that to try as far as possible to make the sexual act as weak and unpleasant and the sexual sensation as is possible with the continuation of human life. It's this that takes the axe to the very root of our existence, our dignity, our self-respect. I'm pointing in the right direction, our core, ladies and gentlemen, which means it's why it poisons everything and why time to start fighting back against it would be right about now. Thanks very much.